What is up, everybody? It's Reverse here today, and we have to talk about this news that is trending right now. Apparently, Xbox will be joining other major publishers and raising their prices of their brand new first-party games to $70 instead of the $60. Following suit was Sony and all those other major third-party games like EA, Activision, etc. Um, it sucks. I mean, don't get me wrong, this definitely sucks. Like, um, not a fan of this. I don't think any game that's worth $70 has been worth $70 so far. The two games I have bought have been God of War Ragnarok. That game's just a glorified PS4 game. It's not like it's leaps and bound better than the 2018 PS4 game. So, another one was Gotham Knights, which that game I got a gift card with that game, so it's kind of like even then that game's still probably worth like $30. I don't think any of these games have been worth $70 to be honest. So I don't see the trend changing. That's just they just released Callisto Protocol. That game was $70, and that game was not a people. That game is has a very divide in the game community about the Callisto Protocol. Some people say the game is good. Some people say the game is trash. So it's not a good look for these certain video games, but it's not going to stop anytime soon, especially if we got two out of the three. Now with Microsoft, two out of the three other major big publishers. Now the last one left is just Nintendo, which it's even worse when Nintendo raises their games to $70 because Nintendo first party games hardly ever drop in price. So that's the even worse fate than the other two. At least with Sony and Xbox, their games drop down in price over time. But with Nintendo, it sucks. And it's like some people, I also seen this one post that got a lot of traction that says the Game Pass is not the cure or an argument to use for trying to defend $7 games on Xbox. But to me, it kind of is. It's kind of like, sure, they raise the games to $70. It sucks, but at the end of the day, I'm using Game Pass. I'm not paying $70 for these games anyway. These first-party Xbox games. Like, I want to play Redfall and Starfield on Game Pass. So this is going to affect me, so to say. But if you're not using Game Pass, it sucks because it's going to affect you. But if you're using Game Pass, it's not going to affect you in any way, shape, or form. That's why this is not as bad as the Sony thing. Because Sony, you don't have an option to play their games day one on their service. You got to pay a full $70 if you want to play their games day one. Xbox, you got the option to use it on Game Pass. So, I mean, it kind of is the defense point for, well, this isn't as bad as what PlayStation has done. It sucks. It still sucks, but it's not as bad as what the options you have on PlayStation about their first party games. So those are my takes on it. It sucks, but I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. Like I said, if you got Game Pass, you get these games day one on Game Pass. Nothing's really changing for you. It's just the price point when you go to the stores will be increased. I was like, it sucks, but it doesn't really faze me. So I don't really care, to be honest. So, but yeah, I think this is mainly just Sony's fault to begin with anyway, because they're the main one of the big three who went along with this nonsense. And they definitely had a game that was worth $70. Like, I didn't see any game that was worth $70 that should be tons more on Sony's side to be charging that much more. But it's just gonna be, I guess you have to be more selective if you are buying these games for $70, because it's like these games do drop in price really extremely fast. That's the one good thing about this. Especially when it's like around Black Friday, like certain games drop in like a week or 2 weeks, down like half off or more than half off the price. So it's just gonna be more selective about which games you buy. That's gonna be my I guess strategy going forward. Just be a lot more selective on what I buy at this point. So let's see what people got to say about this. Switch will become my main console going forward. I wouldn't go that far with it. I think Switch is a good secondary console. I'll just leave it as that. Hate to see it. Only Microsoft can increase the price of AAA games they don't release. Oh man, how much longer can they say that there's no big AAA games on Microsoft? It's like when Redfall and Starfield released, that narrative is going to finally be gone. Thanks to Sony fans for legitimizing the sale of games, fairly innovative goes towards the dev/development. Yeah. It's like they're literally doing this just because they can, because I don't see a reason why they honestly need to do this. Like, there's been no drastic increase in quality from when it was 60 to 70, but, you know, they're going to do it regardless. So PlayStation, Steam, and now Xbox are all 70. Nintendo is the last one left, which, like I said, isn't good because their games really go down in price. Sucks, but we all knew it was coming. It's been over 2 years, and they were the final holdouts. Yeah. It is what it is. Good to know we have a time window now. Truthfully, this was something Xbox players have prepared for. This will also drive up subscriptions for Game Pass. Most players already pay $7 for third-party games. Funny to see Pony try to use it as a gotcha. It's like I don't know why they try to use this as a gotcha. It's like we still got Game Pass to get this game to get the games on, so it's not really a gotcha moment. It doesn't make sense if they're trying to do that. Use that to say, hey, we got your Xbox guys, you got to pay the same price. That's not really the same scenario. It's really not. Yes, keep increasing prices but refuse to release finished games. The quality of their games doesn't really make that a good thing. What is he talking about? Like, okay. They must forget that, once again, 2021 Metacritic, Microsoft had constant bangers coming out consistently, but, he says the quality of the games doesn't really make that much of a good thing. Okay. Well, would you look at that? Nothing to look at when the market leader was the one pushing for it. The good thing is hardware hasn't been increased yet, but I expect it to be soon. So now it's $70 for incomplete games, and then additional $30 for Season Pass 1, and then Season Pass 2 or the Ultimate Collector's Edition. Is he talking about Microsoft or Sony? What is he talking about? Like, he's literally acting like these other companies don't sell incomplete games too. Okay. I need a new hobby. I wouldn't go that far with it. It's like you could just wait for a sale. If you can resist the FOMO, that urge there, you could just wait for these games to go down in price. Or if you got Game Pass, like I said before, this isn't really affecting you. Anyway, shape or form. Xbox spent 2 years crying about $7 AAA next gen games on PlayStation, and as soon as they get some of their own, they'd be like $70. When has any Xbox fan, show me the Xbox fan who was just A-okay with paying $70 for a video game now? Because of this announcement. I didn't see anybody A-okay at that. People are just saying it's fine because these games are in Game Pass. I've seen that argument, but I didn't see this argument this guy was making. This should not be surprising. They were not going to stay at 60 when pretty much every other publisher has changed their price to 70. Which is like, that's cool for like the big selling like casual ones, like the FIFAs, the NBA 2Ks, the Call of Duties. Sure, those games can be $70. They can get away because those games are super popular. But what about like the Tiny Tina Wonderland and the what was the other one that dropped? The Quarry. Those games didn't do too well at $70. Those games probably flopped at $70. So as more of these publishers want to keep raising their prices, I don't see their games selling that well. So I guess that's gonna be the other effect if they keep raising the prices. Like, a lot of these games aren't gonna do that well unless they're like the major, like big casual games like I named before. I never cared to pay $70 only if I felt like a game was worth it. Yeah, people are gonna be super selective. It's only gonna be people are gonna spend their money on the games that get like 9s and 10s on Metacritic, and that's what's gonna be reduced to at this point for buying day one games at $70. Well, how the turntables? Okay. Another reason for me to keep chipping away at my backlog. Yeah, if you have a backlog, that's one good thing. You just put those games, so those other games that are $70 just drop down in price. Damn, think about all those games I won't be buying. Game Pass value proposition just raised. Yeah, I could definitely see Game Pass subscription numbers rising from this announcement because it's kind of like, saves you more money. Now you definitely don't gotta spend $70 on a video game to get Game Pass. You get the games day one. All this industry accomplished in the last 10 years is convincing people to not buy games at launch. And that buying games at launch, especially pre-ordering, that's definitely a hard pill to swallow at this point because you got games that's released that's not even finished. That's like super buggy. Like, once again, Callisto Protocol, people saying that game is not that great. You got Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, that game released super unfinished, but still sold like 10 million in 3 days, which is ridiculous. So you're definitely pushing that train for people not to buy your games at full price, these different companies. And now they're raising the prices even more. It's like, yeah. Hell yeah, now instead of paying $60 for a complete buggy mess of a game, we will pay $70 now. I don't know where he getting this Wii from. He's on his own on that one. I ain't paying $70 for these games. Such devastation, it was all their intention. I cannot describe how much I hate this with words. I would have maybe paired this with some first party announcements, like when they decided to raise their own 360 game prices with Gears of War. Okay. Bro, some of these games aren't even worth 30. I agree. A lot of these games are definitely not worth 60. And it's like even like 40 or 30 bucks is probably a lot of these games probably should be price wise, but you know, they have the audacity to raise the price to 70 bucks. AAA titles are such a dumpster fire as of late. If you're telling me I'd be happy paying 70 bucks for Cyberpunk, Halo Infinite, or Battlefield 2042, you'd be lying. Starfield will be 70 bucks at launch. You can still play it day one on Xbox Game Pass. Okay. This should surprise no one and is overdue. Xbox is still offering amazing value with Game Pass, which, if you haven't browsed lately, has a wild amount of games. Yeah, we already know that. It is all Sony's fault. He's being sarcastic, but it kind of is because they were the first one out of the big three to go with this nonsense. So it kind of is their fault. He's being sarcastic here. Game Pass is the way to go. You play your games because you spent $70 on them. I play them because I have Game Pass. We are not the same. Okay. They released no video games, so this does not matter. Okay. Wait for sales. Probably be the wisest decision out of this. Or just play it on Game Pass. I effing hate the major game companies. Not gonna road in the Xbox dudes' faces. The Xbox dudes, they suffer enough as is. What I will say is don't worry about the cost. You're not being cheated if you pay more for a better product. Worry about what you should have been concerned about for 2 gens, the product itself. Are these people forgetting that Game Pass exists? It's like you're not, like nothing is changing. Like if you got Game Pass, nothing is changing. So it's like, okay. Remember just last month, bots were saying Phil didn't give a time frame, so it would likely not happen for a while. How many times did I say Xbox would charge next gen prices once they produce next gen games? Remember, a reminder, if you don't refuse to buy games at $70 on principle, you are a drone. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty much like a mixed reaction to this. So, like, at the end of the day, like I said before, doesn't faze me, so I don't care. Once again, I got Game Pass, so it doesn't faze me. It's like, it sucks if you don't have Game Pass, but if you got Game Pass, it's not really going to change anything. So, those are my thoughts about this topic. Definitely want to see your thoughts down below. Leave a like this video, and as always, thanks for watching, and peace.